Ah, there you are. Found this place all right? Yes, I quite like it here. All these little colours, all the flowers. I never saw much of that where I grew up. You're earlier than I was expecting. Keen to get started? Or is it anxious? It's all right. If you came here full of bluster and self-confidence, I would be a lot more worried. We're going to take this one step at a time. Is that okay? You don't sound very convinced. You're worried about falling behind? Don't be. Because firstly, you are not your peers. You do not need to compare yourself to them. Your journey is your own. Secondly, all you did was make a mistake, and that does not mean you have forgotten everything you ever knew, and it does not mean you have lost everything you ever were. And finally, have a look down there. See? By the brook? Levere and her Padawan. What was her name? Lynn? You see? You're not the only one taking extra lessons after what happened. So, shall we get to it? You should find a suitable weapon over there. No, it's not a lightsaber. It's a more ancient technology. I believe it's called a stick. I never give my pupils lightsabers until they have been fully earned. Certainly not a position that makes me popular, but in my opinion the Jedi are far too keen on handing out those blades. Besides, sticks are very underrated weapons. They're heavier than lightsabers, they keep your technique honest, they're versatile, easy to come by, and as an educational tool they have a very admirable quality. If a stick hits you, it really bloody hurts. I saw your fight with Levere's Padawan. I'm going to try and emulate her style. All you have to do is try to hit me. No, I'm not worried about you losing control and hurting me. Not in the slightest. Begin. Good. 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 Ooh, interesting. Ah. Are you alright? What do you think happened there? The weight? You'll get used to the weight. That influenced your technique a little, but I don't think it's where you went wrong. Then let's break it down. Your style is quite unique among the Jedi here. Most of them have an over-reliance on the Suresu form. Form 3? It's a defensive style, one that many heroes of the Order, Obi-Wan Kenobi and such, have used. I suppose they like it because it's a defensive style, a peaceful style, designed to wear down an enemy and give you options to disable them, outside of simple crude murder. That has its place. It's a valuable tool, a respectable tool. But for some, they find it to be too passive. And you're one of those people, I suspect. Yes, I thought so. You've clearly studied it in great depth. You saw its popularity amongst the other pupils. And you wanted to find a guard breaker, didn't you? A counter to it. That's why I suspect you were leaning quite heavily on Form 2, the Makashi style. Very aggressive, gives you great control of the battlefield, the flow of combat, if you utilize it correctly. But improperly used, you overextend yourself. Leave yourself open. It's a common mistake amongst the Sith who favor it, but it's not the mistake that you made. No. No, you did not. And no, just because you use a Sith technique does not make you Sith. Makashi is not a Sith technique, and aggression is not unique to the Sith. Master Windu cultivated an entire style known as Vapad. He wanted to use aggression, and he was a master of the Jedi Order at its height. He was not a cruel or evil man. Makashi has its place. It is a tool. And while it has flaws most often found by the Sith who use it as a crutch, their flaws are not yours. You have two, and they both have the same root. But first tell me, after our first conversation, what did you do? How did you spend the rest of that night? Did you rest up? Prepare yourself for today? No, I didn't think you did. No, you read up on the different forms, didn't you? You woke up early to practice them. You didn't rest. Rest is important. Preparation is important. As much as I do respect that work ethic. You do need to take care of yourself. But you did not make your mistakes because you are too tired. No, you made your mistakes because you jumped ahead. Didn't you? Form 5, Xian. It's an evolution of Form 3 based on creating openings and counterattacking. It's a very advanced style. And if I'm not mistaken, you just tried to implement it there, didn't you? No, there's no shame in learning a new style. In fact, it's something I admire about your technique. You clearly have done your research. You clearly think very carefully about which tool should be applied where, and you're constantly looking to improve yourself and your techniques. All of these are admirable qualities. However, you were never trained in Form 5. You don't know it, it's not familiar to you. Your application of the technique was naturally quite clumsy. You knew that going into the test, and you still tried to use it. Why? I'm not judging you, but tell me. Was it because you felt you had to change your style to something less aggressive? Or was it because... I see. No, please. It's quite all right. I completely understand. You wanted to prove yourself. You wanted to show that you could learn from your mistakes. That you weren't less than everybody else because you failed. I get that. I do. I've been there. Listen to me. You cannot rush redemption. And no, just because you tried doesn't mean you're foolish for trying. You're learning. We're all learning, all the time. And now you've learned. That's all there is. So don't apologize. Don't apologize. Just learn. Stand up. And try it again. Take it on board. And try it again. You are good as you are. No, you are. You are. Every move you've made has been considered. You're putting the work in. You're trying. You're taking action. And that is a virtue. That is a strength that we should all admire. You don't need to fixate on the lightsaber. Just because you don't have one does not mean you are less than the others. I don't carry a lightsaber. Am I less than the Padawans that do? No. And I'm not less than the masters that do. You have your own value. You don't have to worry about the value that others will place upon you. Have faith in yourself. I do. It's just a weapon. It's just a weapon. Are they planning to use the lightsaber day by day? They're planning to use this weapon? Is that not a far more shameful thing? You are no less a Jedi because you do not carry a lightsaber, and you are no less valuable because of it. I do not carry a lightsaber because I believe they represent a flaw in the Jedi ideal. They're too easy to draw, too easy to rely on. They strike too quickly, too cleanly, too absolutely. A vibroblade, something forged out of metal. That's something that carries weight. You can feel the danger, the lethal artifice that goes into it. If you stab someone with such a weapon, cut them, the wound is messy, painful. It's not easy to do, and it shouldn't be. Violence is a dangerous, cruel thing, terrible to behold, and one of the... well, it's a horrible reality of life. But it's not easy, and it shouldn't be. But with those weapons, despite all the pain and the blood and the misery of it all, there is room for mercy. You have to really want someone dead to kill with such a weapon. You have to be willing to wade into that carnage and accept the consequences. With a lightsaber, it's harder to show the same mercy. A wound from that weapon, well, there's no holding back. The vast majority will cripple or kill. There is little room for a middle ground there. Little room for restraint. A lightsaber is a weapon of last resort by design. By that point, mercy is difficult. And yet, a lightsaber can be swung quickly, very suddenly. The wound looks clean. It sanitizes violence, makes it look civilized. A lightsaber is so much easier to draw in anger or in folly. And you can't come back from using it once you realize you've gone too far. I think that's why the Sith claim so many of us. Why so many Jedi fall so far once they've taken that step. Because they make a mistake with a lightsaber, and like you, they fear that there's no way back. That they will never be forgiven. And the next time they see a Jedi, they will ignite their blade. They will see the history of the Sith and not the friend they once knew, and so the blades will burn. Blue will clash against red, and the battle is pointless as it sounds. Sorry, I'm rambling. But you should know it's why I have the faith I do in you. Because you know how dangerous a lightsaber is now. And I hope you know what too few Jedi do. That no matter your mistakes, you are not lost. You can always come back. You will always have a home here. And though you may be different and changed by what you may have done, you will be no less embraced by us. You know that, don't you? Good. Good. I'm glad. So, that's the flaw of the technique, and for the solution, I want you to look to the Shicho movements. Yes, Form 1. It's the tradition on which lightsaber combat was built. It goes back to the ancient martial arts focused on swordplay. Here, I'll show you. Adopt the third block stance of Form 1, and the second of your Makashi strikes. Return to the stance. And now back to the first Soresu block. You see, both the offensive and defensive styles draw their influence from the original Shicho. It's an effective bridge. It allows you to transition between the Soresu and the Makashi far more quickly than most Jedi realize. It will help you effectively keep up momentum, maintain control in combat. Yes, see? You don't have to jump ahead. Learn the basics, master them, and keep moving forward. That's how you find what you're looking for. Keep running those blocks for now. Oh, I'm fine. Just a silly memory. I'll be back with you in just a moment. That's very good. Very good. Keep it up. I know you can sense it, Lavea. I think they're beginning to as well. No, I'll be okay. You can focus on your Padawan. It's just guilt, mostly. Guilt and a fair bit of shame. No, it's not the Sith. It's not that. It's Val Noctera. The Jedi theocracy. I think many of them suspect. There was that old rumor about me. Tell them. Yes. Maybe you're right. They're so afraid of falling to the dark side. I don't know if it will do good, but it might. At the very least, they should all learn at some point. The Jedi have done far worse things than fail.